It took me long to collect this file. It has everything. If anything is missing, it will appear soon.
Итак, папка, она продается, стоит 1 000 000. Купите. Покажите дело. Не суетитесь. Командовать парадом буду я.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let me begin. My defendants are Zhanna Galymova and Fedor Konstantinov. They were born in But wait, I will not mention their safe childhood. In those happy days, they were not involved in hostile takeovers and misappropriation of public funds. Then there was pink adolescence, youth, and finally the artistic maturity with the first important enterprises. In this video, I will tell you about change, the so-called pocket money.
You mentioned that you saw people on the road outside of the building. Explain that scene.
30 or 40 people covered in bandages and blood. It looks like a lot of...
It happened in 2017 when Zhanna Galymova announced a tender. That time, she was ahead of the newly established corrupted Department of Utilities that got rebranding and was renamed into Department of Green Economy. In order to fit the new name, they started making money. The scope of the tender was to install 452 benches for the total amount of 247,654,525 tenge. It is easy to calculate the price of each bench, which is 547,908 tenge.
Пилите, Шура, пилите!
The benches are truly gold, but if we Google, we will find a bench for 36,350 tenge. And this is not a wholesale price. Even if an anti-vandal requirement is added, the price will not get a double increase. Suppose the price might be 70,000 tenge, but no way 547,908 tenge for a bench. After googling a bit more, I found an incomplete cycle manufacturer named Zlatar that sells the same benches at a retail price from 100,000 to 180,000 tenge for a piece, depending on a model. But even this price is high, because big lots assume less than 100,000 tenge for a piece. But even this high price is much lower than that shown by RSP ETALON. My respects, Fedor Alexeyevich and Zhanna Galymovna. And when we get back to the tender, we can find all signs of misappropriation of excess amounts. In the discussion of the tender, we can see Margarita Shostak representing SK Zhantas and showing her interest in benches 2 and 6. We can also see Fedor Konstantinov interested in a type of wood and representing RSP ETALON that we already know. Yes, this is the member of Maslikhat who once put tiles on the 800-meter pedestrian zone for 425 million tenge. As you can see, his criminal career as a good French cognac is old and has a story. Zhanna Galymova, being ahead of the Almaty Department of Green Economy, decided to brighten the city and get rich. She announced the tender to buy benches at high prices for the total amount of 247,654,525 tenge and called them decorative in order to protect herself from criminal prosecution in future. The tender was won by her friend and the member of Almaty Maslikhat Fedor Konstantinov. He made it look like there was competition by discussing a technical assignment with his colleague Margarita Shostak. Of course, both Zhanna Galymova and Fedor Konstantinov knew all details of the tender, and most likely the benches were bought at low prices by that time. Discussion in the tender is just an imitation of competition. Margarita is for sure not interested in sketches, nor Fedor is interested in the type of wood, because SK Zhantas and RSP ETALON are the same company registered at the same legal address, and Margarita knows Fedor very well. Moreover, the tender had violations, because the organizer had no right to specify a design and other similar criteria, as it could limit suppliers. The tender was organized for a specific supplier, as always. Those are suppliers who had to offer a design to meet the requirements. This should be real competition. Margarita, who participated in the tender discussion to imitate competition, works for RSP ETALON and is going to hire people for RSP ETALON with which she is kind of competing on public tenders. She even got a call from accountants of RSP ETALON. At the same time, there is no sign with SK Jantas printed on it. Now we have both the misappropriation of excess amounts and a fragmentation to avoid taxes. But the main hero of the story is for sure Zhanna Galymova, who is currently a deputy mayor of Almaty. She made an extraordinary career, and the amounts that she stole… well, I will leave this for future videos. The benches themselves are not suitable for installation in the city, because they are made of aluminum. The benches have no anti-vandal protection. Aluminum is a metal that cannot be called anti-vandal. My calculations show that the benches have 2 tons of aluminum in total. If our citizens with the same low social responsibility as that of Fedor Konstantinov and Zhanna Galymova will find out that the benches are made of non-ferrous metal, I'm afraid each bench will need a policeman. Or it would be better to put policemen behind Fedor Alexeyevich and Zhanna Galymovna, because there are proved elements of criminal act in the tender. From the very beginning the tender was corrupted, because this was the customer who defined the design, which is absolutely unacceptable. The price for the benches was too high. You can also read an article about Park Yuzhny, where Zhanna Galymova were also involved in misappropriation of public funds. The winner of that tender made the cheapest offer that affected negatively on the quality. You get what you pay for. I feel the article was dictated by Zhanna Galymova. Dear Zhanna, can you please explain why all tenders announced by you are won by scoundrels with very high prices? Aren't you tired of telling stories about bad suppliers by means of trained mass media and activists? We'll talk about this later. I calculated up to 170 million tenge that were stolen in that tender. Stolen. That means that 15 families in need could get housing. But instead, Fedor Alexeyevich and Zhanna Galymovna got a good provision. Another example is the member of Maslikhat Akbope Abulkasimova, who is happy that free transport was provided to mothers with many children and handicapped people under the mayor's protection. I am so happy, so happy.
Доброе солнечное утро, друзья! Сегодня в 8 утра я уже побывала на заседании комиссии по транспорту и коммунальной инфраструктуры Маслихата города Алматы. И на этом заседании мы единогласно, все члены комиссии, проголосовали за просто шикарное предложение. Первое. У нас в Алматы 4663 мамочки со знаком Алтналка и Кумысалка, то есть те, кто имеет 7 и больше детей. Так вот, мы проголосовали сегодня на заседании комиссии за то, чтобы эти мамочки все в общественном транспорте в Алматы могли ездить абсолютно бесплатно. Шикарно? Шикарно. Теперь ждем решения Маслихата, заседание Маслихата в 10 часов. Мы также, еще одна хорошая новость, проголосовали за то, чтобы лица, сопровождающие детей с инвалидностью ездили в общественном транспорте со скидкой 50%. Ну, это тоже же замечательная новость. Теперь ждем решения Маслихата в 10 часов. По этому вопросу состоится голосование. Но я думаю, что все депутаты Маслихата, абсолютно все, должны поддержать это наше предложение. Потому что, это же классно. Помочь людям, особенно сейчас, вот в такой трудный кризисный период, когда во время коронавируса действительно стало очень сложно и деньги зарабатывать, и с работой стало сложно. Но как же приятно делать хорошее. Боже, я получаю такое удовольствие, когда получается что-то хорошее сделать для людей. Я вас всех люблю. Целую.
You should have taken acting lessons. All that was left was to cry to the camera. The stolen money could be spent for buses and lifelong free transport for vulnerable people, instead of the benches. Dear Akbope, as you were chosen by the people to represent the people, I am sure you have to file a report over the case. Of course, if you represent the people, if you do not associate yourself with the people, or you oppose yourself to the people, then please tell the truth for the first time ever in your useless Instagram. We will treat this as your full confession. Anyway, This is a small thing. These are simple benches. There are elements of criminal act in the tender, defined by Article 189 of the Criminal Code of Kazakhstan. Misappropriation of excess amounts by a group of people. Excess amounts are 4,000 monthly calculation indexes, that is 9,200,000 tenge as of the crime day. As you can see, the tender amount is much bigger than 4,000 monthly calculation indexes. There is no way to get off legally. Based on the tender details, we can see a subjective part of the crime, an objective evidence basis, and persons involved. There is no legal way to get off. Supposed jail time is 7 years. I ask you to share the video. The above-mentioned people organized a criminal group, as they are not shy about their criminal actions at all. We have proofs. The bigger noise we will make, the higher the chance that the National Security Committee and the Anti-Corruption Agency will start earning their paychecks. And I hope the mass character of the video will affect the resolution of the European Parliament. Never before, Almaty saw a high-ranked public official as Zhanna Galymova jailed. We have a high chance for this. All we need is a wide public disclosure. Good luck and take care.